Alright, so as we're gonna be waiting for the second game, most probably. I can be letting you see again the draft if you are interested. And putting in the text that we are waiting for game number 2 to begin. With Polish taking kind of confidently the first game on Arabia. At this point I'm gonna be expecting that the Polish would be just going for Ghost Lake themselves. Right, if I'm not mistaken, that might have been also home map in their match against Germany last Friday. And depending on their confidence and the civilizations, they might be really wanting to be picking another open map and Arabia-like, as Italians really do have a bit harder civilizations to be choosing from in there a bit. But it's time for the Italians to be showing us how to play, probably on Fortress. I will be thinking if it's gonna be the same as yesterday. And Jonah, I'm not sure, I haven't seen this, the drafts for the maps. But based on yesterday, I would be guessing that Italy could be going for Fortress and Poland could be going for Ghost Lake, but we'll see when they begin. Because previously I was just looking on normal Pancarlino and it was working fine without the 91, so there's something up with there. Maybe the search is not working properly when we are having, or rather when there are too many players or whatever. Strange, but nonetheless, we are having the game that we were waiting for, so that's kinda great. And therefore the second home map, or the first home map, second map in the match between Italy 2 and their opponents from Poland. And it's gonna be Italy's home map on Regicide Fortress. So let's have a look how they're gonna be playing it around here. With what kind of civilizations and everything along those lines. So the Italians, Pancarlino is gonna be this time playing with the Malay. Sgaucciolato is gonna be using the Franks. Then they're gonna be joined by nanimaren, playing the Chinese. Obviously it's quite a powerful civilization for a map like this. And the last one in their team is going to be Shades, playing with the Malians. Okay, so the Malay and the Malians here. So both of these, they are kind of sometimes a bit easy to switch over and switch off and anything along those lines, as I need to be also putting off the text here all the way to the bottom so that we have just the game. For the Polish, it's going to be Rex playing with the Slavs, as obviously powerful civilization for any kind of closed map like Arena or here. With Blackfyre playing the Persians, Zamziak with Mongols. Now he's having actually I in there as well, Zamziak, that's why I probably couldn't even find him in there. And Majestatyczny with the Mayans. So that's a good combination as well, quite a powerful one. I think this is gonna be quite a nice game with both teams having good civs all around in there. As for example here to the bottom, they're gonna be both boars spawning inside. So are they having like the new version of the map where the boars basically spawning in? So far not sure. There's gonna be right now one boar actually outside, so nope. Nope, nope, and not. It's still gonna be the original version with the boars being a bit out, but nonetheless who's gonna be the flank and who's gonna be in the pocket and everything along those lines. Okay, so Sgaucciolato there on the left side gonna be fighting against Zamziak yet again. That proved to be quite a bit of a deciding factor in the very first game on Arabia. As we are gonna be looking into, well, the gold is maybe a bit tricky because it's forwardish. At the same time it's nicely protected by the castle, so it doesn't have to be too entirely bad. Though obviously, like dropping a castle here will be a bit of a problem for Sgaucciolato, so Zamziak may be aiming for something along those lines. But considering there is a Mongol, he's probably gonna be taking quite a long time before he's prepared and set up for the battle. Now, still top, the gold is kinda better. Can be also slightly abused, but this is reasonably good gold all around. Don't think he's gonna be complaining about that too extremely much. Some kind of secondary gold mines are gonna be behind this base. Secondary and even tertiary here, all the way to the bottom of the map, with potentially even another one here. And Kuru corner, plenty of gold mines around him. As a Mongol, he will be definitely happy about all of those resources, as he's gonna be joined by Blackfyre, playing with the Persians this time around. But here again, that's gonna be a horsey civilization, so basically paladins from him, nothing else probably is going to be expected. For example, yesterday we have seen even used Persian, how is it called, elephants, war elephants, not the battle elephants, but war elephants. They didn't exactly yield a victory in there for the Beneluxians, as the Italians were having a whole lot better options against them and won the battle fair and square there.
Yep.
So in the middle there's actually a wolf hidden behind the tree there. Kinda hard to see maybe. Even on the minimap, no, on the minimap it's kinda shining out as the grey. But at any rate, all the way into the right flank, just a bit of scouting by PL Rex. And this flank is going to be nanimaren versus Majestatyczny. So Chinese for nanimaren against the Mayans. So archers versus archers, two powerful ones. So fairly standard. And probably not that much of a surprising matchup in here. You can see the gold yet again a bit tricky. So the Polish might be having a bit of a challenge on their hands. Or the Italians. And the Polish on the other hand as well. To kinda use it properly. And force the opponents into some kind of problems. As he himself, right now, Majestatyczny, will be well prepared. With the back gold, there's gonna be a TC here definitely. Once he's gonna be into Castle Age. And then it should be fairly easy to wall off. It doesn't need to be wall in there. But for example, like using maybe even the gold or the trees behind it. And then maybe like this wall. Even to secure this gold mine might be working out. Though he doesn't need it necessarily just now. So he can be going a bit more conservatively. And even using the gold as part of the natural wall in there. To the top, that's gonna be right now the scout winning. Even against the Eagle Warrior, who was trying to potentially get some kind of hill advantage. Didn't exactly work out for him all that well and all that much. As the scout is gonna be hiding into the castle to potentially confuse the opponents as to where the king is going to be. So for yellow, the king is going to be in the tower. As it's kinda like the usual spot for most of them. As for green, he's gonna be having him in the castle nonetheless. You can see that the king is still in. But considering he's the Malay, probably gonna be heading for the elephants. He might not be needing all that much of a production of the castle in there. And there's gonna be a secondary one, sorry, for the movement and for the zoom in. And that might be already summoned forwardish, because obviously this is gonna be yet again developing probably into a bit of a 2v2 on both flanks. And well, the combinations then are going to be for nanimaren Chinese with right now the Malay with the elephants. So elephants with Chukonus. Then potentially Mayans with the Plumdaches obviously, and then some kind of infantry if the game is gonna be going a bit longer, and there's gonna be issue with the Elise. So he's gonna be having options with the Slavs that will obviously be Halberdiers and Siege. So excellent combination against that. So yeah, well, let's see who's gonna be playing it a bit better. On the left flank, the Persians with the horses combined with Mongols and the cavalry archers named Mangurais is probably gonna be fairly strong combination, with the Franks here on the left flank with the Sgaucciolato and with Shades playing the Malians. Oh, the Malians is probably gonna be yet again some infantry, right? Don't want to be exactly heading here, but when we are already in, let's switch into the Malians. Yeah, that's just gonna be buildings being cheaper, but much more importantly, barracks units having better pierce armor that will be helping against the Mangurais. Is it going to be enough? Well, we'll see. But he certainly will be aiming for some kind of infantry, but considering he doesn't have helps, it's always gonna be a bit of a problem as far as fighting there, because the halberdiers will be obviously a whole lot more powerful. I kinda really wonder what he's gonna be going for. Maybe the battles, but they're probably gonna get slaughtered by all the Mangurais. So not sure what's exactly going to be the plan in there for them. That's really a problem that they didn't exactly draft all that well, I think. They were having a bit of a... No, I'm thinking that the Polish simply just won the draft overall. So not sure, maybe like the Japanese would have been also a bit of an option here. I mean, like not definitely ideal, but they will be having pretty good infantry. And that would be some kind of option for them to help against, because the Mongols with the Persians. But we'll see how it's gonna be developing. But I'm giving a bit more chances to the right flank for the Italians. They'll be making for more troubles to their opponents there. As we are right now in Castle Ages, all the players getting some upgrades. Even a Loom is coming forward right now for Sgaucciolato. Obviously on a map like this you really don't need it all that quickly. And you can see there's already walling coming forward with probably quite a simple one here. That's gonna be like one house and one palisade chip coming all the way to the right with securing even extra gold mine. And I was for example looking with traders, because they seem to be getting a bit interesting considering how the teams have spawned. So there's gonna be having to be a trade. That seems like maybe reasonable sentence in the English slightly. With trades from here all the way to the top, he will be having to probably delete all of that. Otherwise the forests are reasonably fine, so I don't think there's any kind of problem with the trade route for the Italians, if they manage to somehow secure the bottom part, obviously. That's gonna be important. And for the other team, for the Polish, from the bottom here, there's a choke point there. He might want to be getting rid of their Blackfyre all Rex. This is potentially another interesting spot, whether they're gonna be choosing to go through the top or through the bottom. As this straggler is definitely sucky. They will have to be going away. And the gold here, that's a problem. Okay, so actually the trade path, you can see another choke point there, is gonna be a bit funny for the Polish. They might want to actually establish the trades a bit more to the north, if they're gonna be able to secure this part of the map, so that blue cannot exactly get there all that well. So the options already getting a bit interesting as far as to what's going to be going on. As apparently there was a pause and unpause by Pancardino, but since we are a bit later joining into the game, it was apparently just straight skipped. It seems that way. With Teal moving a bit more to the south, so that he is also protecting slightly like the path between them. But basically this is gonna be fairly cheaper walling. Few walls there, few walls there, and they're gonna be having quite a safe position. So far nobody is really walling too badly though, which is maybe a bit interesting. Also on the Regicide Fortress, basically all the top teams that are choosing this as a home map, they are gonna be walling really quickly. Because it's fairly important to kind of limit what the opponent is gonna be doing and to force him into just certain places on the map, and therefore have a bit easier time of protecting your own trade, for example. But nonetheless, all the way to the right you can see that the archers from the mine already gonna be coming forward, as they usually are the very first ones to start producing them because of their speed and everything along those lines. With yellow still going for a full-on boom, you can see that this is a very interesting choice that he went with the TCs that way, because they are all forward, and that's usually making for quite a bit of a risk, but maybe he's confident that he's gonna be winning it, this battle and this game, so let's see if it's gonna be true. But otherwise you really do not want to be having the TCs all in front. You want to be having at least one somewhere to the back, in case the front is not going that extremely well, as this is just kinda heading into a bit of a disaster in case the opponents jump on you quickly and you are not all that prepared for that. So here we go forward with the plumes coming slightly back. So obviously with the siege workshop for the Chinese already prepared. So far he's not building anything else. I'll be maybe expecting some mangonel for the early defense against the archers, if he's not wanted to be producing the Chukonus just yet. As the wall has been finished there, even as a stone wall. Even as a stone wall in there, I can see the economy obviously spilling out. With 2 TCs at the same spot, that's gonna be one hell of a defensive position there. At this point for Shades, he's actually right now at 4 TCs already. Going real hardcore with the booming at this stage. But they are also not basically walling in the middle to really protect the trade route, so they are going a bit more hardcore than will be probably prudent. But let's see if they're gonna be able to abuse it somehow, the Polish. Or if it's not gonna be mattering all that much, because the Polish are not doing anything all that much different. They're also absolutely not walling in the middle, just leaving everything open as they are spilling outside of the premises inside. Now, so on the left, there's another TC next to gold here, obviously. And, well, a few Mangorais already coming forward, but it's because there are also Imperial Ages, and it's gonna be a very quick one for the French. As he's going for a few siege weapons. He doesn't even have any kind of stables yet. So he's actually, curiously enough, right now going for dropping an aggressive castle to potentially deny right about now the gold. Considering that French obviously do have the bonus on the castles in there. It's some kind of idea. You can see he's gonna be continuing with some siege workshop units, at least a few of them in the early stages against the Mangorais. It's obviously quite a risky proposition considering that they do have the bonus against these. But maybe it's gonna be working if he's gonna be quick enough. So far it seems like that he might be. With even a trebuchet coming forward. It's actually fairly interestingly played. You can see that on the economy, Sgaucciolato is obviously gonna be quite low since he has rushed the Imperial Age that way. But otherwise 100 for Pancarlino, Blackfyre 97, otherwise all the 80, 66 for Majestatyczny, 78 for X. So actually, quite frankly, if it only Sgaucciolato is a bit lower, but otherwise all the other Italians are actually a bit stronger in the economy than the Polish. So this might be a very interesting battle going on here. And on the way, as a few more villages though are moving forward from Rex, he's gonna be wanting to get a bit closer to the opponent. You can see he's not gonna be scouted all that well here, as there is another push actually by nanimaren. He's trying to do something fairly similar dropping an aggressive castle on the opponent with high range so far. Or the Mayan. Now he's moving ahead with the outpost so that he's getting a bit better vision. And also right about now the Mongols. So they are really jumping on the opponent quickly. This stone is gonna be temporarily denied. As the other stone is... Is it already gone? Oh, that is like the secondary stone. So maybe actually the Mayan is gonna be without castles. That would be obviously quite a bit of a problem. And he's gonna be trying to destroy the tower. Or it was maybe just killed by the castle because it got the improvement into the range. So maybe that could be the case. But nonetheless, so far very interestingly played. As in the middle, there is going to be right now the Scorpion trying to deal with the archers. Which is probably gonna be working fine as he was having his operator repairing it. As apparently there's also a bit movement forward with some stables for the Malay. As obviously the elephants should be the next course of action for him. Or is he gonna be trying to do something with the castle units as well? So far doesn't seem so, but obviously with Blue getting forward and forward with 10 on the castle, going real hardcore into the middle of Poland, this is actually maybe fairly surprising how well this is working out for the Italians, but it obviously depends on the fact if they're really gonna be able to close it up real quickly, because if not, then the stronger economies, as we said, it's only Sgaucciolato who is having weaker economy, otherwise the other Italians are on par or better. So this is actually fairly dangerous for the Polish, and they might be kinda caught with pants down. Quite significantly, this is gonna be quite a solid damage to the Mongolian economy. And considering that Mongols need a lot of time to establish and get all the expensive upgrades for the Mangurais. You can see they're not even elites yet because he's just now getting into the Imperial Age. In the TC at the back here. Right? Yep. Well, he cannot kill that, obviously. And where is exactly the king? That's also very important information. It seems to be that he has already flown, or flew somewhere into safety. That's gonna be another TC. As his economy is gonna be obviously suffering. Okay, there's Steel King, and there's a Purple King. I'm not really sure where is the Orange King, quite frankly. He's certainly not there, but even just losing the castles here for the Mongol is a huge disaster. He's not gonna be able to produce any kind of extra army, so this is definitely toast. And even though there's gonna be right now finally some kind of assistance by Blackfyre with the cavaliers from the Persian, not entirely all that positive. This is gonna be fast enough. They're gonna be able to finish with the castle, even though it's gonna be taking a bit of effort. You can see castle down, castle up. So a huge problem right about now for the whole team of the Polish, and rather excellently played by the Italians here, as they're gonna be coming forward with all the camels from the Malians, so that is what they're gonna be coming forward for. And with us all the way to the right though, the battle is a whole lot different. You can see plenty of elites, but also plenty of halberdiers by the Slavs, and obviously with the siege already moving forward in quite high numbers. Those Chukonus are not exactly like the bestest of units against all of that. Otherwise though, you can see that the Chinese is pushing forward into the Mayan. You can see he has destroyed the castle, and the Mayan really has a huge issue, because he just doesn't have any kind of secondary stone. One stone, second stone, he's just completely and utterly screwed. He does have gold there, but stone does not exist and compute. You can see he's trying to desperately get it from his teammate, as at least the castle is destroyed here. So good job on that, but he is significantly denied. Whereas in the middle, it seems like the Malay elephants will be maybe actually overcoming the halberdiers here as well, as they do have at least some upgrades. I'm still looking with the halves. They do have also some, but not entirely the most that they could be potentially having. So apparently Blue is gonna be switching into some kind of infantry upgrades. So as a Franks, is he going for throwing axeman? No, he isn't. But he's getting the upgrade into the infantry, so maybe he's gonna be going for halbs himself. Franks do have halbs, right? Or they have at least pikemen. Right now I don't think we actually checking that, but yeah, they should be able to really support something along those lines, as the camels so far seem to be doing a reasonably good job. They are not fully upgraded yet, but they do have right now the numbers, and considering the economy that has been really stumped for Zamziak, he's still at 90 villages, but that's way too low for properly propping up the Mongol, especially since he doesn't have all that many castles. It looks to me like that while there's gonna be a bit of a counter push, you can see that important castle to the bottom, at least one, that Zamziak has been able to get there. Oh, it's in the balance, the game. The game is still in the balance. Right now they're gonna be finally coming forward, the Paladins. Not fully upgraded, definitely not, because he's missing the attack upgrades in their Blackfyre. He's working on them so far, as they're getting research, at least the first one. At this point, of the two remaining, Sled Mangudais, they will be able to take down at least the trebuchets, but it's also costing quite a lot of lives, which is not entirely all that cheap at this point going around. All the way to the top, it seems like the forward build is gonna get destroyed and annihilated, with even some Karambits moving forward with their decent attack and ability to be just desperately spammed, or desperately strongly spammed, let's say. They don't want to be seen saying that first word. And much more importantly, the elephants are gonna be right now breaching the gate together with nanimaren. And well, with the economy right now suffering more and more from Majestatyczny. This is surprisingly slightly to me, but incredibly well played and very good preparation for the map. And even with the maybe slightly weird civilizations from the draft, for the Italians, they are certain right now proving their worth and destroying the economy and destroying and completely leveling the base. For, well, right now Majestatyczny on the left, Zamziak is doing what he can, as there's gonna be a huge engagement with plenty of non-fighting paladins yet again. Look at that path in here, with the horses basically just staying in the spot and not moving anywhere all that often. You can see, for example, here on the way to the right, instead of trying to find some new targets, that's gonna be resulting into quite a bit of an opportunity for the camels to basically just win on the numbers. It seems to be exactly going on, and well, good victory for the time being, but are they gonna be able to basically follow through? Because we haven't seen too much of a blue yet. As he's right now apparently a bit of a falling back, and he's gonna be switching into the pikeman. Yeah, exactly as we kind of expected, with another plate armor for the infantry. So this is gonna be probably a bit of a stabilizing moment here, waiting before the Sgaucciolato, or the Sgaucciolato is gonna be able to get a bit more infantry into the fight to counter all the horses slightly better than even the camels, and obviously also needs to be at something against all those Mangudais. As while they are not fully upgraded yet, they are obviously still going to be quite a bit of a danger because of their sheer power. All the way to the right flank, you can see that Teal base has been kind of overtaken pretty much fully, with all the Chukonus fully upgraded 8+6, with rocketry even in there, full on defense. So yeah, fully upgraded Chukonus. And then with the trebuchets, of course, completely destroying the whole economy and whole base of Majestatyczny, who is gonna be down still 90 villages, 30 of them idle, but obviously he's just losing most of everything inside his base, and he's gonna be significantly up to potentially the Slav to somehow do something with that, but he's gonna be having apparently significant issues with all of it, with the Karambits inexorably moving forward and destroying everything in their path. So, as the Polish are still fighting for kind of... No, they do have a bit of an opportunity maybe on the left, but it's not entirely all that full, because you can see that the halberdiers are finally in. And while they are still missing basically all the attacking upgrades, as right now Forgin is coming forward with blue kind of on the way to some... He already has good economy, so this was very well played all around. He kind of jumped on the opponent on the right flank as well, and right now for a few minutes there was an overtaking by Shades with his stronger economy, and he has a bit more time to actually build his own, but not switch into the horses, but rather into the Thresh halberdiers, so that he can be a bit faster in the battle with quite a lot of units. Look at that spam of all the hubs. He is quite excellently up on the population limit, 180, 192 for Blackfyre, so it's actually quite high, but a lot of that is going to be, of course, echoed at 156, but with Paladins, that's kind of what you exactly want, so that you are going to be able to spam the palace as soon and as much as possible. So this is looking right about now yet again a bit stabilized. You can see a few siege workshops coming forward from blue, as he's getting architects and ballistics. Not seeing any kind of upgrade with siege engineers there as well, but not seeing exactly anything else as far as on it, just for example upgraded. So wondering if it's gonna be maybe only rams or bombard cannons, yeah. And of course the thought for the Franks, bombard cannons to help against the potential siege that the opponents could be having, and maybe even help as a bit of a siege weapons instead of the trebuchets. That also could be quite a viable choice, as on the right flank any kind of outskirts of Majestatyczny's base are gonna be completely and utterly annihilated by the Elise, with quite nice upgrades at this point already for them. Now in the middle, well, there is a slow move forward. You can see that random rams right about now from nanimaren, with the siege managers already prepared and trying to get some kind of good hits in, but it doesn't seem to be working that well because the Karambits are just gonna be all over them. in a matter of seconds and just basically putting them out of commission fairly quickly. So another castle right now to block some kind of resources here and also get some kind of really important ground in the middle. You can see those two helps. I mean, maybe it could be even a hero in there, but it doesn't matter all that much. You can see the skirmishes will be good enough against Karambits if they can be getting into that position. But switching to the left battlefield, another castle is apparently gonna get destroyed for Sgaucciolato, but as soon as it falls, it's gonna be also replaced even before that with a new one standing right next to it. So far we are looking at about 3 castles for the Mongol. That's actually not a bad number. And has he been able to upgrade into elites? So far not. It's an incredibly expensive upgrade, obviously. He is getting right now Rams upgraded, at least. That's what he has resources for. As Sgaucciolato, apparently quite a good economy. We have seen the 3000 food in there, and definitely missing for the Mangurai maker. So he's gonna be having to rely on not entirely the 100% effective units, whereas the opponents, they are already pretty much fully upgraded. You can see the 7 attack, 14 in total for the heavy camel raiders for the Malian. Yeah, that's quite a powerful combination. On top of that, with the trebuchet and the, of course, on top of it, even the bombard cannons, not only to get rid of the trebuchets, but also outrange the castles and therefore get rid of them. Only 11 range for the castle, a whole 13 for the bombard cannon. So that's gonna be quite a solid siege with another castle yet again dropped in the middle. Considering the Franks have them cheaper, he's obviously gonna be spamming them as soon as possible, as much as possible. And the units don't seem to be the correct combination for this so far for the Polish, but they're trying to slow it down as soon as, or as long as possible. Problem is that on the right flank, they are gonna be the Italians getting closer and closer into the middle of PLRX's base, and Mithila right now kinda spilling forward into the middle of the enemy military, and basically the only effective units that the Slav can be making are halberdiers and siege, and it seems like that neither is working too well against the combination of the Malay with the Chinese. It's looking definitely quite dire for the Polish, and really well played so far. You can see a few idols and kind of attempt to at least be still in the game for Majestatyczny. So far looking pretty promising for the Italians. How's it looking on the echo? 55 for Majestatyczny. Sgaucciolato not all that much off, or rather at 90, but for him it really doesn't matter because he's going for straight basically spam of halberdiers, and he already does have strong enough economy and obviously all the upgrades that he needs for the combination of the helps and the bombards. So he can definitely afford to be having a bit more population limit for the army, as they are necessarily moving a bit ahead, but maybe he could be trying to switch a bit more to the left side, because you can see that Shadys is exactly thinking that way. You're having some stables, so far not producing anything too much, but they should be getting a bit more into the echo instead, or basically trying to push through the middle, where obviously the opponents are having the main defenses are going to be able to also hold a bit longer because of the power of the units they have. No, basically the battle here could be potentially turning if somehow Zanziak managed to get upgrade into the Mangurais into elites. I'm thinking that might be just still a bit of an opportunity for them. You can see right now crop rotation clicked in for Blackfyre, so that he would be having the most effective economy that potentially could be thought of in this game. Now, so in the middle, that's gonna be right now Purple trying to do what he can, but he's getting pushed back more and more, bit by bit, further by the nasty combination of the archers with karambits, and also on top of that some elephants, or are they already a bit of a thing of the past? You can see gathering enemy gold, some trebuchets moving ahead. No, at this point it's basically seeming like a full-on spam of karambits into the middle of the enemy base, not even taking care of the elephants, but maybe a few of them could be useful, just to basically mix it in so that the skirmishes are gonna be a whole lot less effective and more micro will be needed, or just basically dying right on the spot, because obviously skirmishes won't be doing anything at all against the elephants. But here the karambits against, for example, the halberdiers, that's quite a solid option in there, especially if they can be kind of outspamming the opponent, but it's gonna be hard, because yeah, creating from the castles and creating from the barracks, that's obviously quite a different thing in there. What is the game ID, Luca? It's all the way to the top, 155-26329, 392, sorry. So you can see it all the way to the top here. You can see having some kind of late game luck, apparently it seems to me. As we are at... Okay, so it seems like that finally the Italians have been able to breach the middle. They have destroyed one of the Mongolians making castles. There was another one here to the left. So that's why, of course, right now Orange is gonna be slightly falling off. And while on the left side they are still not pushing, even though that really seems like an opportunity. Not entirely for the Orange, because they're not really gonna be able to do anything at this point anymore. Yeah, the camels moving in with even the castle. He's having still plenty of stone. Is he right now gathering from the enemy stone? Don't see it anymore, but he's having plenty. Maybe he's even buy. At this point could be definitely worthwhile. To the bottom there are already halberdiers getting all across the map, even into the trade slightly. So yeah, they are trying to desperately fight here. More villages moving forward, probably for some markets, for the trade, also for the blue player. But in the middle it seems that actually there's a bit of a switch by Blackfyre. He doesn't want to be fighting on the left side anymore, and that's also gonna be the reason why the Italians are pushing there finally, as the powers have been switched into a bit different playthrough, the position. And the paladins against the karambits and the Chinese archers are probably gonna be really good. Really good. And Kingi, I do have widescreen. I have you see more than on any kind of other stream, because I have 1920 per 1200. I don't have 1080p. I'm kinda just wanting a bit more view on all the other things, and it's kinda working on the strategy games as well for the casting, I'm guessing. But yeah, don't worry, you're not seeing anything less. It's not any kind of just graphical whatever fluff on the sides. It just basically need to be putting it into the proper ratio for the 1080 for the streams for you to be watching it. But there we go. As we have seen, there was just an end of the game here. Even the switch of the paladins to right against the archers and the karambits, which was, I think, a kind of correct decision. But problem with that always going to be that on the left side, then obviously Sgaucciolato with his teammate Chase are gonna be able to completely overpower Zamziak, and that's exactly what happened. And this was excellently played by the Italians. I'm really surprised by the fact how actually Polish weren't able to put up all that much of a opposition, really. Because that was just a really quick jump on the left side. That was a bit of a surprise to them, I'm thinking. And it worked really well. And on the right side, it was also a pretty quick jump by the Chinese to kind of deny really the Mayan. Because the biggest problem was that the Mayan couldn't even gather enough stone to drop even secondary castle somehow quick. So he cannot even get going with the plumed archers. Because there was the primary stone, secondary stone here in the front. And it was just insta-denied by really quick presence by nanimaren in there. And while PL Rex was moving a bit more into the middle, trying to surprise the opponents there, it wasn't going to be, as he just was kind of alone and the opponents were already well to set up, especially Pancarlino in there with all the Malay elephants, and even the halberdiers spammed by the Slav weren't going to be enough at that point. This was just really nice performance and really strong choice of the whole map, and working out rather excellently against even the camels getting in the end to the bottom of the trade route. So yeah, congratulations to the Italians. They're gonna be taking the second game in the match. And let's have a look into the post game, and then potentially the third game. Pancarlino deservedly high score. You can see quite similar though with nanimaren. But overall really good play. Good plan for the map. And execution also kinda on spot. With spamming all the castles by the Frank into the middle of the enemy base. With a few siege weapons, he wasn't doing anything too much. He was basically just spamming castles into the middle of the enemy base and doing trebuchets. Castles and trebuchets, that was what the Frank did. Not any kind of horses, nothing. And when that worked really well and was able to slow down the Mongol, then Shades overtake with his camels against the horses, and even just basically the low amount of Bangu dice. And that allows Sgaucciolato to be coming up from the 50 villages into 100 plus and start spamming the halberdiers. And then a bit later also the bombard cannons. Really well played and well trained. Good game plan overall, just cannot overstate that enough. And that's exactly what team games should be all about. Preparation and home maps. You can see Pancarlino sending a lot of resources. So obviously the karambits then later don't exactly cost too much. And since he was having economy set up for elephants, then he obviously had quite a lot of surplus. You can see he was sending most of it to Sgaucciolato to set him up and get him going in there after that initial push. But obviously they can be slinging only after 30 minutes. So it's still They need to be waiting for with that. You can see 19 minutes 41 Imperial Age. Rather nice. Rather nice indeed. And Blackfyre 177, that's a bit too high for the Paladins, but it wasn't exactly all that much like a game decided there at that point. As the game was already broken way before. Zamziak and him did what they could have. That power was too strong, and on the right flank as well. GG.